Jonathan Shippey. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in Louisville in private practice, and I'm also a workshop presenter and a master trainer for the Gottman Institute, which is headquartered in Seattle. There are about 25 of us that are affiliated with this institute in Seattle, and the name Gottman is in mental health circles widely known and widely respected for their research and insights into improving particularly couples relationships, but really all relationships. And so you can learn much more about Gottman and their work if you just go on YouTube and search for Gottman, Gottman. I wanted to talk today. Carol had this idea of pastoral care series, and I was really interested as soon as she invited me to sign up. I've been in private practice for about 20 years. I'm a graduate of Louisville Seminary, and I got my Master of Arts in Marriage and Family Therapy there. Lauren Townsend, who many of you know, was one of my supervisors and has been a mentor all my adult life and my whole career, so thank you, Lauren. What I thought I might talk about was one of John Gottman's breakthrough or discoveries from his research. His research was really just going in and observing couples and setting up conversations for couples to have, and then stepping back and watching them and seeing if he could find patterns. And pretty soon into the research, he began to realize that there were some predictable patterns that couples could do some things to really improve and develop small things often that they did that gave them a sense of fulfilling love over time. And then he also found some very predictable patterns that he came to use an apocalyptic reference. He called them the four horsemen, because these behaviors were so predictive of really burning down the relationship. And as I mentioned in the earlier part, the focus of the Institute is primarily working with couples, but the principles around relationships really apply in all kinds of relationships: parents and teens, parents and younger children, adult siblings, co-workers, friends. So, and if, like I said, the resource place is Gottman.com or YouTube, search for Gottman, and you can learn all about anything I'm covering in this video. Obviously low production value, but hey, this is what we get in the time of COVID. So I hope this helps. Today I thought the topic I'd hit on is John's catching that the way we bring something up is super important for how we get listened to. And John and his wife and life partner, Dr. Julie Gottman, she really helped him shape his research, but they together identified what they call the gentle startup, and I'd love to sort of lay that out for you and show you how it might work. What we found from this observational research was that when I bring something up and I lead with a feeling, it tends to disarm people that I love. There is an assumption here that this this should work well with in a relationship where we have a sense that we are in a relationship. What I'm teaching here may or may not work with a complete stranger devoid of a context of relationship, but the assumption here is that if we're in a relationship, we're operating under the assumption that we both matter to each other, that we care about each other, and that we're really trying to both attend to our partner's needs and get our needs met as well. And so in service of that, we want to use this gentle startup to start something, to start a conversation or to introduce a topic. And so what we found was there are three parts to that. The first part is lead with a feeling. And so the second step is to say what your feeling is about. And the third step is to ask for what you need, or try and identify something that you'd like for your partner to try with you. And I'm using that term partner in the sense of the listener in this conversation that I'm in. It may not actually be your life partner or spouse, but It's someone with whom you have a relationship that you're trying to discuss something. So the gentle startup invites us to start with a feeling, I feel, and many of us will want to then quickly add a word like or that, I feel that, or I feel like. And I always caution folks, try and edit that part out. If you add the word like or that after the words I feel, you're probably leading into a thought, not actually going to state a feeling. And the challenge with introducing your thought first is that it can invite some disagreement. It can, when things go really badly, invite defensiveness from your partner, and it kind of shuts the listening down if they, right off the bat, may disagree with your perspective. So we want to save that for the second step. So I feel, let's say, sad about it's been several days since you called me, and the need might be, I'd really love it if we could get together and have a chat. And so that's I feel about what and I need. And let's imagine that I didn't use that gentle startup with that example, and I call my friend up or send a text, an angry text, and I say, haven't heard from you in days, what's wrong with you? Or I might say, you never call me anymore. And you can hear how that approach to the same problem is going to probably put the listener on some defensiveness, which is defensiveness is going to be a barrier for them to hear what I have to say. So a better way is to say, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling afraid, I'm feeling concerned. For people that, the way I say it is, don't use feelings as a first language. It's more of a second language. There are some really helpful resources, one of which is called the Feeling Wheel, and you can find that if you Google Feeling Wheel, it'll be the first thing that comes up on an image search. And you can actually have that, keep that on your phone or keep it handy for you to help identify what it is that I'm actually feeling, because many of us may struggle to articulate that. The second step, when I describe what it's about, I want to try and do that in a way where I'm not criticizing my listener. I'm not describing the problem as a problem within who they are, but I'm describing maybe some actions they took. Most importantly, I want to stick with what I experienced. So I want to use words like I remember hearing, or this is what I experienced. So I'm trying to describe it, as we say, kind of objectively, more like a reporter who's witnessing this as opposed to an editor who's writing an editorial about what it means and interpreting. We want to try and avoid all that. Again, the key phrase of this is startup. So this is really just a way to get a conversation going. And so when we're using that step 2 about what it's about, try and describe what you experienced, what is most important that your partner can witness of what you went through. And then the third step is asking for what you need. Many of you watching this may have some business experience or have had some business training, and there's a widely known acronym in workshop and business world that's called SMART, setting up a SMART goal. In this case, I like to borrow from that. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-sensitive. So when I'm trying to identify what it is that I want to ask of my partner, maybe I could do a little internal work and think, how can I make this specific, measurable, achievable? Is it realistic? And is there an expiration on it? Is there a time to this? So let's go back to the example I used earlier. I'm feeling kind of sad. I haven't heard from you in a while. I'd really like to have coffee with you before next week. Could we try and set something up? And so that's a very specific way that, imagine if I got what I wanted that I'm listing there at step 3, I'd probably feel some relief, in this case from my emotion of sadness. And so that's another way to identify what it is I need. Can I articulate something that if it happened with the person I'm speaking to, would I feel some relief from that feeling that I identified in step 1? So if you want to follow up on this, you can reach me by email at relationshipy@gmail.com. That's the word relationship with 3 letters, P-E-Y, added to the end of it. It's kind of a mashup of what I do and who I am, relationshipy@gmail.com. And I'll be happy. I've got a little PDF that I've created about this topic, and I can also just send you a copy of that feeling wheel. I hope you found this helpful today. It's a discipline and a mindset that I've learned when I'm trying to approach someone. Try and lead with what I'm feeling. Try and describe what it's about in short, concise, non-editorial terms, just the facts as best I can present them, and then the impact of what I went through, describing that in addition to what I need that might give me some relief. I feel about what and I need, and that's the gentle startup, and I hope that was helpful.